Welcome to the Deborah Kennedy Show. Tonight I'm honored to have the leading cosmetic surgery docs in the whole country, Dr. Bryan and Dr.Kara Criswell. Welcome to the set.
Thank you, Deborah.
Oh, it's such an honor to always have my favorite leading duo, and always changing with the new procedures that are onboarding. But I love that you both are very, very thoughtful in what you bring to the table with your practice. It's a wait and see game for you.
Absolutely.
So I remember with a lot of the equipment that you have, you tested it for a couple years or brought it in and rented it to see if you liked it or not before you would adventure or share that with your patients. So I love that. So we're going to talk about skin tightening tonight. What are the leading procedures in skin tightening?
So when we talk about skin tightening, we talk about facial skin tightening, so people who start developing folds and wrinkles in their face who are not quite ready for a facelift, and body tightening, elbows, abdomen, knees, arms. And up until recently, there have only been a couple of modalities that helped a little bit. And so over the last few years, we've used a whole lot more of energy that's delivered into the skin. And so the way we deliver energy is with a laser, which is photons that we're shooting into the skin, and with radio frequency. And there are other modalities, but those are the two main ones that we use some for skin tightening. Laser targets the skin and the actual top layer of the skin, so there is some skin tightening that goes on. It's more for the actual resurfacing of what the skin looks like. And radio frequency is energy that's delivered right underneath the skin, which tightens the collagen and tightens the skin from below. So it's a little more powerful in terms of a skin tightening device.
And lasting. So if it's from below, a little longer lasting?
Permanent.
Mm-hmm. Which is a good dollar cost analysis, right? It's perfect.
Yeah, but it is one of those things. It's a treatment, and so once you do it, it's one of those things that you may do for maintenance. So if you're not ready to have a surgical intervention, which is obviously going to be the more significant result,
Optimal.
but these other modalities will improve the skin quality and allow some of the tightening. So no matter what, you're going to look more youthful, even if it doesn't give you quite the result in terms of, okay, now I don't have nasolabial folds, or all my jowls are gone, or all my crepe. It's not. But it's going to improve the whole quality so that if and when you do end up doing a surgical modality, your tissue is going to look more youthful. Because you can pull somebody tight and tight and tight, but if their skin quality isn't good, it doesn't look normal. It doesn't look youthful.
I can remember back in the day, the Yang laser was basically the go-to laser, and there weren't all these other choices. And your downtime on that was a couple weeks. Honestly, a couple weeks, and you look like a raw piece of meat.
Right.
You know?
And we still use that because it's very aggressive but very effective. Right.
Yes.
But we definitely have other modalities that there's less downtime that you still see results from.
And what is another form?
Well, one of the main modalities used now is the radio frequency, and one of the products is called Scarlet RF. So it's a microneedling, which microneedling does help by causing some damage to the tissue, which then remodels, stimulates collagen production. With the radio frequency added to that, it allows for more skin tightening. And the great thing about the Scarlet, and there's other names of the products with that, is that radio frequency is safe to use everywhere. And so people are using it on those difficult areas that you're like, I don't want to wear a long sleeve. I have to wear a long sleeve. The armpits, everything. And it does make a big difference, and it can be repeated. You can have those treatments multiple times.
So that one's not permanent.
It's permanent in the treatment that it does.
Right.
But it is one of those things that you would probably want to do again. Like, let's say you do the series of treatments, you might want to repeat that 2 years later or 3 years later.
Need a refresh.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then there's one that's coming onto the scene.
Yes.
That you get to wait and see. So let's talk about that.
So with all of these other modalities, we've used some kind of thermal energy to cause the micro damage stimulating collagen production. So one of the newest machines out there is the one I'm mentioning is Ellacor, but it is you doing microcoring of the skin. So you're taking out tiny little cores of the skin. So rather than causing damage with thermal energy and your body remodeling, you're actually removing skin. And so each treatment area could take out 4 to 8% of that skin. So without scars, without an incision, without surgery. And this is something that you could repeat. So I heard one physician talk that, okay, well, this person, I ended up taking about 32% of their skin out with multiple sessions of this microcoring technology. So if you think about it, if you're not quite ready for the facelift or you can't get your head around a surgical intervention,
Right.
this is a great option for those patients.
So walk me through it. So let's say it's on your face and 32% of your skin is removed. Little dots, almost like a little,
Right.
almost like you're having a laser,
Like a little pixel.
like a pixel, like tattooing. So does the skin regenerate and collagen builds? Like what is the result of that other than
So
losing skin?
The device is a handheld device, and it stamps onto the skin little square patterns,
Right.
and multiple microneedles go into the skin and take out a core of skin out and get rid of it.
So does it lift? Okay, so it lifts. That's a bit.
It
Tightens.
lifts.
Tightens
It
and
lifts and
okay.
tightens because
Okay.
instead of with a facelift, you remove skin from back here and then you pull up like you're tightening a bed sheet. But with this, you remove skin right in the target area, and as you heal, then it tightens. It tightens in all directions, and so you can improve or get rid of the nasolabial lines, the marionette lines, the jowling.
Is this a one-time procedure or is it something that's multiple procedures?
No, well, it is, I think they recommend multiple sessions initially, but again, you want to treat to correction. So someone may elect to have even more than those 2 to 3 sessions.
As with most non-invasives, you need 2 or 3 treatments to see a result.
Right.
There's minimal downtime. You're going to need 2 or 3 treatments. Then after 2 or 3 treatments, reassess.
And who would be the ideal patient for this procedure?
Well, it seems that almost anybody who has some skin laxity that they want treated, you just have to have appropriate expectations. So maybe it's the person in their 40s that isn't quite ready for a facelift. Now we're doing facelifts younger and younger on patients because they tend to heal quicker, it looks more natural, yada yada. But the patient who has just a little bit of laxity that they want treated, that the other thermal energy mechanisms aren't giving them the results.
And they're
they
not
want.
ready for a facelift.
Right.
So it's
Right.
going to be 40s, early 50s, or someone in their 50s who's not interested in having a facelift.
Or a maintenance after you've had facelift.
Right.
Because when
Yeah.
you do the facelift, you're taking, 7 to 10 years off somebody's face, but you're going to age after
Right.
that. So rather than just committing to, okay, every 10 years I'm going to have another little nip and tuck, this may be a way of maintaining the result throughout that time.
Right. So I guess the caveat is there's nothing going to take the place of surgery.
Right.
But this is an add-on. So if you have surgery, you're not quite ready for the surgery. This is, just a little something special to get you're ready to have surgery or to help with the surgery healing. Yeah.
And
Correct.
I think eventually, right now, it's FDA approved for the lower face, but there are some surgeons that are using them off-label in different areas that really aren't amenable to having a scar. So let's,
Right.
again, the elbows, like
Right.
focusing on the
Exactly.
elbow. But you don't want a scar in your elbow. You don't want a scar in your knee. This may be a way of treating those areas in conjunction with a thermal energy delivered system that would rejuvenate those areas.
Well, I know my dynamic duo, when all the boxes are checked and perfection does exist for this procedure, you will bring it
That's right.
to
Yes.
your practice.
We will.
So
We'll know within
it'll
this
be wait
year.
and see.
We'll know
Right.
within this year whether it's something that is actually effective and safe for everybody. So.
And that's what we love about you. Thank you so much for stopping by the set. It's always my pleasure. I'm glad to call you not only the top docs in the country, but also my bestie. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
Drs. Bryan and Kara, making you beautiful one person at a time.
To view this entire episode or to view other past episodes, please visit our podcast site at DeborahKennedyShow.com. You can view the complete episodes right on the website or subscribe to the show via iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. Thanks for watching.
From time to time, we all need a little therapy. But my special guest tonight has a special mode of therapy that you are going to love. Caitlyn Williams, I'm excited to have you tonight.
Oh, thanks, Deborah. I'm excited to be here.
On the set. So, forest therapy. Tell me a little bit about what that is.
Well, forest therapy is kind of an umbrella term that can encompass a lot of things. So you could be doing yoga outside, you could be meditating outside, you could be doing any number of things. But I actually lead something that's called relational or heart-centered forest therapy. So forest therapy, as we know it today, actually originated in Japan in the 80s during a health crisis that the nation was experiencing, basically because people were transitioning so quickly from rural lifestyles to more, modern tech-based lifestyles, and they basically were experiencing all these stress-based maladies. So they started looking at what they could do to help people feel and be healthier. And one of the things that they started researching was, what do our forests offer us? How can our forests help us? So some of the early research found that trees emit a chemical called phytoncides. And the phytoncides are part of the tree's immune system. They help the tree communicate with other trees and say, hey, there's a pathogen or there's an insect that's coming through the forest. Everybody emit this chemical so we'll all be safe. But the amazing thing is that when we're exposed to these phytoncides, we produce more natural killer cells, which sounds like a little ominous, but they're actually great. They're a special kind of white blood cell that can detect disease in a human cell before the cell is actually damaged. So the rest of our white blood cells are basically cleaning up already damaged cells, but these natural killer cells are cleaning cells before they rupture so the disease doesn't spread as far in the body. So the researchers in Japan were like, this is amazing, and the government gave this decree that everyone should practice Shinrin Yoku.
Oh, say that 3 times.
Well,
you said it very well at first.
I'm not a native Japanese speaker, but
You sounded very
Shinrin
good.
Yoku is how I understand it's pronounced. And what that means is to bathe in the forest atmosphere. So literally get out there and take in these chemicals, these phytoncides that will make you healthier. So sometimes forest therapy is also referred to as forest bathing.
Oh, that's what we were talked about earlier, forest bathing. So I'm going to say with the trees and being one with nature and the forest, let's just talk about how long the trees live. Let's just talk about that. So it has to be, I think it's all good about, nature, the forest, being one. I think that's a great way to energize and to just really be one, don't you? I mean, it's a healing process.
Well, yeah. I mean,
That's what you do.
yeah, people have been going to nature for health and healing since as long as people have existed. It is part of our biology to be connected to nature, and it's actually a much more unusual state to not have that connection. So there's a lot of research out there pointing to different maladies that come from simply never having that connection to the natural world and to the sense of self and joy and community that it can bring to feel like you have a relationship with those old beings who are right outside your door. Like here in Charlotte, we have 100 and 200-year-old trees that line some of our streets, and and they actually support us. They give us things like phytoncides, not to mention, giving homes to the birds, which there's a lot of research that shows that the more bird song that you're exposed to, the greater people's level of happiness.
So let me ask you a question. So, I think being with nature is great. We hike, we walk, We, do yoga outside. We meditate outside. So when you're doing forest therapy, walk me through one of your sessions.
Okay, well, so it's a little different than hiking, although I definitely think everyone should do that as often as
Right.
possible. So it's not really exercise in the outdoors, and it's not a naturalist walk. So, I won't take you out and help you identify the birds and the trees, although I certainly could do that because that was a
Right.
long part of my career before I got into forest therapy. But it's more of a sensory-based practice. So when I take you out, the first thing that I'm going to do, aside from orient you to what we'll be doing, is to take you really deeply into your senses. And then from there, I'd give you a series of invitations of ways to interact with the natural world. So I might invite you to go out and gather some textures, or I might invite you to spend 10 minutes just exploring the sense of the place that you're in. And sensory development, our brains are really based on our senses and their integration. So we don't spend a lot of time really being present in our senses. Like
Right.
we eat our food really fast. We don't taste it. We walk down the street looking on our cell phones. And
Right.
I'm shocked at crosswalks sometimes.
Right.
I'm like, wow, does that person see the traffic? So there's this kind of anesthesia that we're culturally trained into, and it certainly serves its purposes, but it also impacts our health
Right.
in really deep ways.
Right.
And people have profound experiences from really very simple things like, laying down and watching the clouds might be something that I invite you into.
Right.
And people will often say, wow, I haven't done this since I was a child.
Right.
Or another thing that's really common is for people to, if I take them on a walk in an area that they're really familiar with, say things like, wow, I've been coming here for 40 years every day, and I feel like I never saw it before.
Right. Yeah, so it's great. So I love what you do because it's really getting back to the basics of enjoying the moments, what you're basically saying with nature and being one with nature. And so that's how it's very different. It's not therapeutic where you're talking and talking and talking. It's a different kind of therapy. You're disconnecting from the world. You're being one with nature. So I love it. So you are so inspiring. I love what you're doing, and we would love you to come back as a guest. So thank you for sharing your story and what you do, and you're just amazing.
Well, thank you for having me, Deborah.
Thank you so much. So I love it. It is really just, sometimes we don't disconnect. Sometimes we live on our phones. We live on our computers. We can't break away. Forest therapy allows you to be one with nature, to be one with yourself, to regroup. And isn't that always so important to find yourself?
If you are in the fashion, art, or entertainment industry and would like to be a guest on The Deborah Kennedy Show, just go to DeborahKennedyShow.com and you could be a guest just like me.
To view this entire episode or to view other past episodes, please visit our podcast site at DeborahKennedyShow.com. You can view the complete episodes right on the website or subscribe to the show via iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. Thanks for watching.
There's nothing like the holidays. Holiday is all about family, entertainment, and really great food, right?
Food, of course, you have to have food for
Of
the holidays.
course. So we have the famous Armin in the kitchen with Armin
Thank you,
tonight.
Deborah.
And
Always
we
great
want
to be
to
here.
show our audience out there how to do a few little things that will bring holiday cheer. So
Right.
you have the best presentation of appetizers here. So tell us what.
Well, and we
can
like
do.
to say call Armin's Catering and buy all these things because we make them all. What we've done is sliders are such a huge hit right now. So we took our sandwich menu, we made everything into little mini sliders so that everybody can have something at home that they would normally get in our restaurant.
Right?
So what we have here is our muffalata. It's a New Orleans style sandwich with an olive spread, capicola, ham, mozzarella cheese, provolone cheese. It's just got so much stuff on it, I can't remember everything that's on it.
That's a Jersey sandwich, right?
The next one's
Yeah.
a Jersey. That's turkey with artichoke spread, and that's got Munster cheese. And then we've got a little Kobe beef slider, a pickle on top, pickle underneath, a little mustard inside, some cheese. These are all great little sliders to put together and put out on your table. Next thing we have is Deborah's favorite.
The Deborah Kennedy Southern Decadence.
Southern Decadence.
Yes.
And that's basically toast with the pimento cheese and a fried green tomato on top. And then what we have here in the pan is our bacon wrapped quail, and we make this really delicious orange marinade. So it's like a glaze almost, and you want to heat this in the pan so it gives it a nice flavor. You can put this in your oven and bake it, or you can do it like this.
You're talking, you can help.
And what's in this already is this is made with mandarin oranges, orange jam, Grand Marnier. Of course, we have to have a little liquor in our glazes.
Always.
Olive oil, and we just let that reduce until it gets nice and thick, and you can see the consistency. And once you heat this, it really adds a lot of flavor to your quail and your bacon. You see how that's nice and brown? Yeah, and you've got that nice orange smell. So you have, you could heat all these in your oven, put them on platters, take them out a little bit at a time with your guests. Have something cold like shrimp. Yeah, this smells really holiday.
This is like so holiday. It's like
this is like a take off the old scallops wrapped in bacon. So this was something we made up. Yeah, this is really. It's simple, but it's a little bit of work to make. So we take the work out for you by cutting up the quail breast, wrapping them with the bacon, and then you pre-cook these, and then add your sauce right at the end.
And our Deborah Kennedy Southern Decadence is just simply a piece of toast with some cheese on it.
Some pimento cheese.
And fried green tomato.
And fried green tomatoes. And then we have, like I said, the shrimp has a nice Cajun seasoning with some lemon juice. And then homemade cocktail sauce with ketchup, horseradish, lemon juice, and Worcestershire.
Wow. So this would be a great, like, when people come over for Christmas Eve and you just want to entertain a little bit and have your neighbors over, your family,
Right.
This would be perfect and simple to do, simple, easy. Just get little pre-made
sliders. And it's great because it's still filling, and they can
Right.
still drink, and they can still have a great time.
So you can make little beef, you can make a little, like, whatever you think on your sliders that your family members or neighbors would like. Simple, easy, make them early, and then pop them in the microwave. The shrimp, we could do simple early.
Simple, have it ahead of time in the fridge. These are best if they come out of the oven because the bread gets nice and crispy.
Right.
And then don't forget, at the end of the holiday, you're loaded up with gifts. Like Deborah gave me these wonderful napkins last year for Christmas, so you've got them ready to use this holiday.
Right. I love that. So this is simple, easy, a way that you can relax because the holidays are very stressful.
Right.
Because you feel you don't have enough hours in the day to get everything done. And this would be a nice little get together where if you have your, just family time and not have to work a whole lot.
And it's a good variety. Now, of course, if you need something gluten-free, we can always do that, or a vegetarian version.
I love it. And these are things that our audience members can do at home really
Exactly.
simple,
You can do them at home. We share all these recipes online on our website, so you can learn how to make this stuff. It's good to stick with, the real thing that we make here.
Right, absolutely.
And you can get sliders and all different kinds of things today, but this is a really good variety that we came up with for the holidays, and people just love it.
And you always come up with the best, Armin. You come on this show prepared with something different each and every time. And our audience members love that. And if you caught this today and you want to go back and see how to cook as Armin in the kitchen with Armin did, go to DeborahKennedyShow.com and Google our podcast, put Armin's name in there. And it'll come up all of his recipes, but it'll show you how he did our sliders today, the shrimp recipe, the Deborah Kennedy Southern Decadence, which no home should be without for the holidays.
Exactly.
And then, of course, our quail bacon wrapped.
Right, with an orange glaze.
Orange glaze. Well, happy holidays
Thank
to
you.
you,
Happy
Armin.
holidays,
Thank
Deborah.
you for
Thank you
always
so
bringing
much.
us the
Thank
best.
you.
We always get a lot of viewer emails about
Thanks.
your recipes. And so let's close out with saying happy holidays to our audience out there, okay?
Let's do it. Happy holidays, everybody.
To view this entire episode or to view other past episodes, please visit our podcast site at DeborahKennedyShow.com. You can view the complete episodes right on the website or subscribe to the show via iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. Thanks for watching.
our Christmas present to you tonight is our musical guest, Mr. Jeff Brown. Take it away, Jeff. Oh, and company.
And company.
That was amazing, Mr. Jeff Brown. Thank you for that musical presentation. It's really getting us into the holiday spirit. And we want to wish our family out there a very Merry Christmas from our family here on the Deborah Kennedy Show. Merry Christmas!
When you look around, see the tears falling down in a world so cold, where there seems to be no hope. So just look